Have today is we're going to do the thick cut pork chops, and we're going to put them in the oven, and we can make them low cal, which is what I'm going to try to do, because if you've been watching, I'm trying to lose weight basically and stay on the healthier track. So what we're going to do is, instead of breading the pork chops, we're going to sear them so they get a nice brownish golden crust, if you will, on the outside, and then we're going to bake them. So we just really want to get that nice golden color on the outside in the frying pan, and then but we're not going to fry them. We are not frying the chops. We're just putting the color on them, and then we're going to put them on a bed of onions and peppers, and then I have a bell pepper here as well, in the oven. And another little trick, which I'm a little bummed about, is along with the onions and the peppers, is you can slice a zucchini or cut it up and stick that on the bottom too, because it's going to absorb all the other flavors and juices, and it's a great way to add another little vegetable into the mix if you have some picky eaters. That's just really good. You're not even going to notice that it's there. So I'm just going to slice this up real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and slice up the bell pepper also. And then I'm going to show you what we're going to do with my friends here, the hot peppers, the sandwich toppers. You don't have to use hot. My husband and myself, we like it on the spicier side, so I like to add spice wherever I can. These peppers, these sandwich peppers, also come mild, so you can go ahead and use those too. If you have cherry peppers in your house, you can add those in. You can leave them whole. You can slice them in half. If you want the cherry pepper taste, like the vinegary taste, but without the heat, then you can, take the seeds out of the peppers and just add the actual meat of the pepper, the flesh itself. So here I sliced up my onions. As you can see, I'm going to just slice up my bell pepper, take the seeds out. And I would be adding more bell pepper, but, going through the food store, I thought I had more peppers in my fridge, so I didn't buy any today. So when I came home, of course, and it's my fault because I should have looked before I went out, but, when you're trying to leave the house with 2 kids, I didn't look, and I only had this guy. So we're going to make do with one, because I'm not going back out to the food store today, and this is what I already planned to cook. So I'm just going to slice this guy up. You don't have to slice it. You can do it in squares or cubes if you want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. You want them to just try to sit relatively flat, because you're going to lay your pork chops on top. So this is going to be a bed, or part of the bed. So here, I just slice them so you can see them. They're not all exactly the same. They're not all even. Like I said, it doesn't make a difference, because all the juices are going to combine together. They're going to cook anyway. When they come out, they'll be soft, and everything will be simpatico. So that's that. So I'm going to have my sandwich topper peppers. I'm using right now this Lowry's all-purpose salt-free seasoning, and just so you can see, it's just a blend of regular old spices like basil, oregano, black pepper, dill, sage. Nothing too fancy. I'm going to keep my chops themselves a little bit on the tamer side, just because I want to taste really the onions, the pepper. Here's my very used, very old frying pan that I'm going to sear my chops in. And then this is about a 9 by 13 inch glass. It's a Pyrex baking dish that is going to be the end where everything's going to go. So to this baking dish, I hope I have enough olive oil in here. I just filled it the other day, so I should. I'm just going to give a good drizzle on the bottom, just so my peppers and onions don't stick. And now I'm just going to go ahead and throw my onions in. You can break them apart. You don't have to break them apart. I put the onions and peppers in. And now I'm taking my hot sandwich topper peppers, and I'm just going to throw those in. I am going to leave one little corner without the hot peppers, because, like I said, I don't want my son to get the heat, because I don't want to hear his mouth that he doesn't want to eat dinner because it's too spicy. So I already know he doesn't like spicy, so I'm going to just leave one corner without the spicy peppers. Here's my pan. I'm just gonna put a little tiny bit of the olive oil in here, just so my chops don't stick right away. And you see that's how little bit I put. It's not even like that much. Okay, so here's my chops on my board, and they're pretty thick. They're pretty healthy cuts. So I'm gonna just assume that I'm only gonna eat one of these tonight. If this was the thin cut, I might have two. I probably would have two, but I'm probably only gonna eat. And there's no rhyme or reason to this. It's however much seasoning you like. You can use any seasoning you like. It doesn't have to be this one. You can use just salt and pepper if you like it on the blander side. You could use garlic powder. Chipotle seasoning might be nice. Adobo if you're an adobo fan. Adobo has a lot of salt in it though, so I either try to buy the salt free, or like I said, I'm going to make my own. And when I do make my own, I'm going to just nix the salt from it, because I'd rather control how much salt I put in my food, not have, you know, an excess amount, because you could always add more, but you can't take salt out once it's in. So my pan is pretty much hot. I'm going to add it in. Hear the sizzle. And again, we're just getting them brown. We're not cooking them. Now, if you wanted to make this a little bit more savory dish tasting, instead of the olive oil on the bottom or a combo with the olive oil, you could put a few dollops of butter here and there. But like I said, I'm trying to cut the calories where I can, so I'm not putting the butter. If you wanted a little bit more crunch or texture, you could also bread the chops. And then, you know, put them in the pan real quick just to get the breadcrumbs nice and golden, and then put them in your pan. But I'm trying to make this as low cal as possible. I'm going to go ahead and give them a flip. So here's that same chop from before, so we have more of the golden coloring. I'm just going to turn it over to the raw side. So let's see this guy. Here's the brown, which is fine for me. I'm good with this color brown. But you can see here, can you see it? That's the inside that I didn't brown. It's still raw. It's still pink. I would not serve this to my family like this. I wouldn't serve it to anybody like this. But I'm just going to go ahead like this and put it in my baking my Pyrex baking dish, because like I said, we're going to finish baking it in the oven at 350 degrees, covered with aluminum foil, for about 45 minutes to an hour, which you know, that's usually like my universal temperature. I think that's a fine temperature and time to bake these sized pork chops. So here's my chops on top of the peppers and the onions. Again, we have that drizzle of olive oil on the bottom, just so the peppers and onions don't stick. But it's an easy dinner for, you know, a quick, good meal. It looks like you fussed, but you really didn't. If you had a large crowd or a little dinner party coming over, this is a good one also, because it probably took me 20 minutes to prep this, and that's really nothing in the scheme of dinner time. And that's it. That's all she wrote. You know, 20 minutes to prep and then 45 minutes to cook. So, you know, figure a good hour just to do dinner from start to finish if you were doing it in one big step. But I'm going to do it now because my kids are sleeping, and it's easier for me than to do it later when everybody is awake. So that's that. I'll post a picture maybe on my Twitter or something like that if you're following me, of my finished product. If I could sneak it in here before I post it on YouTube, then I'll try to sneak it in there of my finished plated dinner. But that's all she wrote. And there's no name for this. It's just baked pork chops, onions and peppers in the oven with some sandwich topper peppers. I used the hot kind. You can use mild or regular or cherry peppers or whatever kind of peppers you want. Anyway, okay, well, happy cooking to everyone. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.